Hello and welcome to Paint That Smiles, Chapter 2. This is a septiplier-based story. Has blood, gore, and as if you watched the last episode, it's getting fucking insane. Remember what I said? MC is for mature content. BG is for blood and gore. And GM is for both. Hope you enjoy the series, and let's get started. Sean backed up from the door, his heart in his throat, not knowing what was happening or how to react. Mark shoved the door open, just narrowly missing Sean as it swung open. The light from inside the room reflected onto Mark's back, his shadow falling over Sean's figure as he tripped back to the ground. "Please," Sean whimpered, cowering backwards, his back touching the wall behind him, not giving him any more space to back away. You dare to intrude. Trespassing is strictly unacceptable." Mark's voice cracked, his tone wavering. "Please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. I didn't know anyone lived here. I'm sorry." Sean rose his arm in defense when he noticed Mark rose the knife he held in his grip. "Please!" Sean begged, shutting his eyes and trying to push away himself more into the wall, hoping he could just disappear. Mark lowered the blade slightly, tilting his head as if in concentration. Sean opened one eye and looked up at him, seeing Mark contemplate with himself as he soon dropped the knife and reached down, grabbing Sean's upper arm and forcing him to his seat, pulling him into the light. Mark stared at Sean carefully, studying his features very closely as he leaned closer to him, squinting at him slightly. "You are absolutely You're absolutely magnificent." "Oh, fascinating. You are absolutely fascinating." Mark beamed brightly, a large smile spreading over his lips as he shoved Sean into the room full of art. Sean stumbled to the ground. What? Sean stood quickly and turning to face Mark, who shut the door and began approaching Sean, his smile never fading. Sean backed up, Mark growling away, and Sean nearly backed up into the wall, which was still wet with paint. "Your name?" "What?" Sean frowned, his body still trembling in absolute horror. "Speak your name!" Mark demanded snappishly, already impatient with Sean's lack of response. "Sean, but I prefer Jack," Sean mumbled, glancing away momentarily before looking back up at Mark. "Jack. How arbitrary. I don't know how to say that fucking word, but I can say it how I want. How can one get Jack out a name as Sean?" he asked mainly to himself. Sean taking no notice of his rather formal speech. Sean didn't respond, letting his eyes shift to the wall, gaping at the work but put into the picture. Did you make these? Sean asked absent-mindedly, looking around. Mark looked at him, clearly surprised. Yes, they're... Sean breathed. Mark scoffed. Awful, aren't they? Absolutely failure, if I know one. Mark mumbled it, and Sean looked to him with wide eyes. Failure? You're shitting me. Sean spoke, and Mark rose an eyebrow at him, not understanding what he was implying on. They're amazing! Sean gasped, Mark noticing the surprise that crossed his features. I couldn't ever do anything as brilliant as this, Sean stated, and Mark watched him as thought he were mad. Huh? Mark mumbled, crossing his arms over his chest and glancing away almost as thought he were silenced. Mark, right? Mark, right? Sean stepped up to him, almost calmer, but still wary of his unstable mental level. Mark glanced up at him, but said nothing, waiting for Sean to continue. What happened here? Why are you out here alone? Sean asked him. Mark glanced, stepping forward and slapping Sean across the face, causing him to oh my God, Sean, no! Stumbled to the ground, taken aback by his sudden violent behavior. How dare you? How dare you ask me such a thing? You fucking fuck! Asshole, whatever that fucking word. Asshole. Mark sneered, his fingers curling up into a fist. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Sean was cut off when Mark grabbed him by his hair and yanked up. Sean letting out a startled yelp as he rose his hands to try and pry Mark's fingers off. Mark dragged him out the room and down the stairs. Flinging him out the door, Sean stumbled down the few steps by the front door, crying out, "Be gone! I do not wish to have you here again! Be gone before I send to meet your maker!" Mark screamed, turning and walking back inside, slamming the door behind him, leaving Sean out in the dark night. But, baby, why are you looking up schizophrenia? Psychosis? Cena asked Sean as she sat beside him, glancing at his computer to see what he was looking up. Curious, I guess. He shrugged, not wanting to tell her about what happened. known she'd get upset that had gone out into the woods in the first place. Sean was otherwise desperate to know more about Mark, wondering whether he could somehow find something about him, whether it be by a mental institution or somewhere else. It'd be wise to just forget about what happened and never go out there again. But his curiosity was much stronger than his logic at this point. Why? I don't know. He chuckled, glancing at her before switching off his computer and turned into her fully. He needed to know Mark's last name to find out more about him. He couldn't just go by one name. After all, Mark isn't exactly a secure name. Don't know what. You're acting strange. I'm really worried about you, she mumbled, and he tried not to roll his eyes and at her, leaning closer to her and pressing his forehead to hers, chuckling softly. I'm fine, I promise, he said, and she huffed before nodding, leaning up and giving him a soft kiss. Sean returning the favor, pulling her close to him. Mark sat on the window seat, staring outside, his knees brought up to his chest, his eyes fixed on the trees outside that had surrounded this place he called home. He hated living here, but he refused to leave. Why? He wasn't so sure anymore. Memories haunted him like little birds, constantly tweeting and smothering him with their little chirps. His head filled with voices, not that they were screaming at him or speaking in his thoughts. They were simply memories replaying themselves over and over in their head. He forgot had a conversation with anyone. He anyway is remembered. He anyway always remembered. He considered this a curse. The fact is that his head is filled with past memories screaming in his mind of what they were stating on the cushion and how it all played out. The images were what terrified him most. Thinking back to what he had seen and what he had done was scaring along as it was. God, he hated this place. His mind wandering over to Sean, his eyebrows and his lips pursed as he pressed himself up, walking into a new room which he had not covered in his imagery yet. As of yet, his mind lingered on Sean's eyes, tilting his head slightly, and lifted a paintbrush and stroked the brush in the colorful liquid, lifting it to the walls and beginning to paint.